the fizzy yellow beer is our hoppy American Pilsner, I guess, more of a Bohemian style, but it is all European hops. And it's just a little fun play on the words, fizzy yellow beer. It's anything but bland and boring. It's actually richly hopped. Really exciting and flavorful beer. So you can see that pairing with a broad range of foods and just being a nice, easy drink.
Light, fresh, yeah,
beer.
really nice.
Easy.
Little too easy.
Next one I have for you here is Hophead Red, and you guys were noticing the medals. 3-time medal winning, silver and a bronze at 2 different years of GABF, 07 and 09, and then was a 2008 gold World Beer Cup. Now this is a 6.4%, all backing up to the Pilsner 5.2%.
Okay.
Saws and Hallertau hops, which are 2 different regions, hop growing regions. The Hophead Red is Nugget and Amarillo dry hopped. Gives it a resinous, hoppy character. Has a rich and tasty caramel malt base. Gives it a lot of that great reddish color, and it tastes like it finishes drier and cleaner, to where you can actually have a lot of reds are finished sweet. It starts sweet, but it has a great balance.
It's a really hoppy red. You don't taste
really
it
hoppy.
Right, you don't usually get a hoppy
So it's probably
red.
brewed to suit my taste more than the general public. Bit of a hophead myself. We brewed the Hoppy Red to be a great partner to what's become our flagship beer, the West Coast IPA. I released that in my first 6 months of coming over to Green Flash. Came on after the first 2 years, and then took over the reins. And then we released, I think it was March 1st, we released West Coast IPA, extravagantly hopped, 7.3%. ABV, 95 IBUs, and 5 different hops to add different layers and characteristics.
One of the favorites at my studio.
Yeah,
it is.
Perfect.
It is.
And it's,
this is the West Coast,
it's a favorite across the country, around the world. Japan,
it's really,
Denmark,
that is a really good
East Coast, West Coast, Texas, all over.
5 different kinds of hops, you said?
Yeah.
And
Simcoe, Columbus Cascade, Amarillo, and Centennial.
And what about the malts?
I use a high quality premium 2-row barley for the base, and I use British Karistan, which to me is key. It's a great flavor. So that's kind of the backbone, and a little bit of carapils because of the yeast we use. I think it's a good fermenter, accents the hop character, but the carapils helps keep the body up.
You know this one already.
Oh God!
You two are old friends.
Okay. So you get a lot of grapefruit citrusy notes, but you also get some other tropical fruity notes, and that's the just that
it's
fruitier,
hop. Right? It's fruitier than the Hophead.
Yeah, a lot more hop notes than the hop.
Real good.
So this kind of takes you on a tour of the hops, and then I gave you some other beers to transition, to show you do have some range. The next beer up is a we call it a fiery golden beer. It's our triple, or tripel. That's how we spell it. Just kind of old world spelling, just to have some fun, showing that we actually do look at old world techniques and styles and ingredients, and then we put our own unique modern twist to it. And so this is it's also a nice award-winning beer. They actually all are, except for the Fizz Yellow, because we haven't really competed it. But what did we win? Best in Show in 07 at the California State Fair, and a silver medal at the GABF.
Oh, wow, okay.
In 07 as well. So 07 was a good year for our team.
Yeah, really.
It does age nicely for. I think once it's in the bottle, I think it peaks after 3 months, 6 months, and even up to a year, and then it's still fabulous up to 2 years, and then you start to notice more biscuity and cracker kind of oxidative.
So if you sent that overseas, it almost would be perfect by the time it hit.
Be fine, and that's actually a good point, because the Belgian beers that come here aren't as fresh tasting.
Right.
Here they don't have you don't taste the spices and the hops as clearly here as in country.
Okay.
So but it typically is a golden beer, or even paler than this. It can be very pale. It is often spiced, and And it can be a deep golden beer like this as well. I think the West Mall and the Chimay White are very similar in their body and color to this beer.
There's a real sweetness to it also, though, right?
Yeah, and some of it's perceived. It's not really sugary sweetness. It's actually a perceived. It's a
And
fruitiness
weed,
from that.
good starter.
Now, I
All
didn't
right.
pour you the Imperial IPA. It's super potent with hops. But we can visit.
Okay,
So
yeah,
now you have the
I'd be
triple.
curious to try it.
Now, the reason why I mentioned it is I made a beer style, which you're about to try, called the Freak. And this
Okay.
is a crowning achievement for me. This is a beer that's not any particular beer style. It's not inspired by something. It's almost counter-inspired in a way. Some of the inspiration came from maybe something like Houblon Chouf, a Belgian brewer who was inspired by Americans using high hop rates and American hop varieties. And then I said, well, if he can make a beer like that, well, I can, have my way with Belgian yeast. And so I basically brought together Imperial IPA and Belgian triple styles. So this is kind of a
Here we go. I feel like I'm
convergence.
getting on a roller
And
coaster.
This is a
Belgian
convergence.
yeast as opposed to
And I used
American.
both. I did use 2 yeast strains.
Oh, okay.
The Belgian yeast first to get that rich fruity character that we had in the triple. But now if you taste this, you'll see that it doesn't. It has that fruitiness, but it's zesty. It doesn't have quite the sweet perception that you get from the triple. It has more zestiness because the hop balances it out. Initially,
Wow,
the
yeah.
aroma, right, it's a little sweet, but also zesty. It's a little bit orangey almost.
It is. It's almost like
Orange zest or orange marmalade, orange pithy.
it's almost like 3 beers in one. I mean, it sort of goes from one to the next to the next in flavors. It's
and
got layers.
That orange zesty
Yeah.
almost becomes like either a candied
Yeah.
orange
There's some
character
going
or
on in
burnt
the
orange.
middle.
Yeah.
And even more so as it ages. So I still consider this young. I think it's under 3 months. To me, this is still a young Lafrique. So it's still
Young freak as opposed to an old.
Yeah, it's not,
Okay.
it's not quite freaky yet. It's just weird.
Yeah.
It's a little uncomfortable. No,
Wow, that's cool.
Lafrique. Then I made a stout here. I brought the stout up for you. I love the stout. It's double stout. Double stout again is an old world style. It's not quite imperial stout, although it's pushing the limits, for strength.
What makes it go to
It could be-
Imperial Draft?
Is it
It's
just alcohol level?
the
or?
flavor profile is probably a little bit more like what's a more modern stout is an oatmeal stout, but it's a stronger beer, and it's stronger than actually a foreign style export, which is like the Guinness Extra that you find in a clear bottle. It's got a richness, but it doesn't have the bitterness of an imperial stout.
I get that.
It's got some hop character in there, but it's
right.
more
It's also
earthy and balanced and more.
with some vanilla notes
Yeah.
and some almost.
It's probably not
honey
hoppier
and-
than Guinness, but it's
Yeah.
twice as strong in alcohol.
Really?
Yeah, it's 8.8%.
Wow.
So what we
That's
have
good.
actually won some nice awards at California State Fair for Imperial Stout.
Right.
It does have a chocolatey component.
Yeah.
When I built that recipe, I didn't expect it would be as chocolatey as it came out, but once it
But the
came out,
lingering-
there's no way I was going to change it because it was such a terrific flavor. It's almost like a bitter,
Yeah, so the
sweet
lingering
chocolate
isn't-
truffle
the
lingering-
rolled in cocoa powder. So the cocoa, there's almost a
Yeah.
cocoa powder
But it
component
doesn't.
too.
The lingering is more of a nice, not a sweet thing. It's kind of like a coffee, chocolatey.
Yep, it's all.
Yeah, there's a little coffee
yeah,
kind of chocolate
little
and yeah,
coffee
that
note,
might the
little
cocoa
chocolate
powder.
note in
Yeah,
there.
which
Wow.
I like because I don't like
Really
big
good.
sweets, things you can.
There's a subtle fruitiness in there, and we raise the fermentation temperature to get a little bit of that fruitiness, and then the hops are more earthy and spicy. Golding, Target are the hops. Target, UK
Really,
Target.
really
so-
good.
Damn, you rock.
Thanks.
Beers are excellent. I love being in San Diego.